Hi, this is Dr. Y again. This time we're going to analyze and resolve some secondary dominants. I got three of them to do here. This first one is a C, E, G, B flat chord, which is an altered chord in the key of C, right? So it's got to be a secondary chord. That looks like a major triad with a minor third on top. So this would be like a 5-7, right? A dominant seventh chord in some other key. All right, so it's a 5-7 of something. We'll go ahead and put that down here, 5-7 of what? Well, if that was a 5, how would that resolve, all right? You go down a perfect fifth or up a perfect fourth. F. F would be the key that's a 5 in. So I'm going to resolve that in the bass up to F. You want to move the bass to the root in the next chord. Don't try to keep the bass on a common tone or anything. The bass should move to the root. Okay. Now F is 4, so I'm going to replace my F with a 4, so now it's a 5-7 of 4. And we want to take that to a 4 chord. That's the correct resolution here for secondary dominants. So we've taken the bass to the right place. We need to take sevenths down if a chord has a seventh in it, and that's B flat. We're going to take that down by step to A. And leading tones generally go up, especially if it's in an outer voice, it must go up. Our leading tone here is the third, E, right? So we can take that up to the F. Those two voices have resolved correctly. The tenor is left to either go to an A or an F. It can't really go to a C because that'd give us parallel fifths, right? So I'm going to take it down to the F. Now I have 3 roots and a third. Okay, that's going to be okay. The only way to avoid that is to frustrate the leading tone. Okay, moving to the next one. The chord I have here is a natural C, E flat, using the key signature, G flat. All right, so what type of chord do I have? It's an altered chord, and that part is diminished, right? So I have a diminished triad and another minor third on top, making that a fully diminished seventh chord. Okay, it's an altered chord and it's fully diminished, so it's going to be a 7 diminished in some other key. What key? 7 diminished 7 of what? If the leading tone is the root of this chord, if it's a 7, then the leading tone is going to lead up by a half step to B flat, right? That would be an A7 chord would be the leading tone in B flat. So I'm looking for a T do. The leading tone is the T, and the leading tone is the root of the 7 chord, right? Okay, so I want to resolve this to B flat, and in the key of in the key of A flat, I can replace that B flat with 2. So it's a 7 diminished 7 of 2 in the key of A flat. Let's make this look nice and neat. Sort of. Okay, and where's that going to resolve? 2, right? Okay, so I'm going to put the root of the 2 chord in the bass, which I've done already. And now I'm going to take the leading tone up. Well, I've done that already because that's in the root. The 7th down. That's my G flat, right? That's going to come down. Okay, good. So I've taken care of the most important parts. Now I need a B flat, D flat, F chord. So I need a D flat somewhere. Actually, we can put it in the tenor. And double the root in the alto. Kind of looks like a parallel fifth here in the top part, but notice that's a diminished fifth going to a perfect fifth. So that's unequal fifths. It's fine. Okay, now we're going to the next one. This one is an A, C sharp, E, G chord. Another altered chord, and it's been altered so that it is a major triad, a minor third on top, so this is another dominant seventh, a 5-7 in some other key. What key would A be a 5 in? 5-7 in the key of D, right? Okay, so it resolves. Take the bass up a perfect fourth to arrive on D, and that D is 5 in the key of G, so this is a 5-7 of 5. 5-7 in the key of 5. So we're going to resolve it to a 5 chord. That's the logical place for it to go. I'm going to take the 7th down. The G went down. You take the leading tone up. Although it's in the tenor, I could frustrate it. Let's see what happens here. Leading tone up to the D. Now I've got two Ds and an F, but where's the soprano going to go? I'm not sure about this yet. I might need to frustrate it. The soprano doesn't have anywhere to go because we already have an F sharp, so we can't double the third, so we're going to bring it down to the root. And that means if I don't want a tripled root, I might want to frustrate the leading tone down so that I have a fifth in my chord instead of three roots. All right, so there's what I've got so far. All right, so these chords were all altered. Two of them were altered to be dominant seventh chords. One was altered to be a diminished seventh chord, and you should resolve them accordingly. Okay, good luck again on the test.